we had to show up. We had to be on our best, right? We had to be professional. We had to be all these things. So just because now we've added social media in doesn't mean that you don't pay attention to the other things. It's not good enough just to get a booking. You gotta actually, like you said, get that 5-star review, get that referral. No one's gonna refer you or give you a 5-star review if you gave them a crappy treatment, or an unprofessional, service, and you're late and you're just, I can go on and on about it because it does make the difference between a 5-figure artist and a 6 or 7-figure artist.
Welcome to Glow Up Boss, the business school for beauty entrepreneurs. Having trained over 8,000 women to build and run profitable beauty businesses, I'm here to share knowledge and skills to put you on the fast track to grow your business and glow up your life. I'm your host, Veronique Monroe. With 20 years experience as a product developer, celebrity spray tan artist, and founder of multiple sunless tanning companies, I've launched products and methods that have become today's industry standard. This podcast is where you will learn what you need to build your business from the ground up. You'll hear from industry experts on how to build a thriving customer base, grow revenue, buy back your time, and create the freedom to live life on your terms. It's time to discover the boss within you. Get ready to glow up. Welcome to Glow Up Boss, the one-stop shop for all beauty professionals looking to take their businesses to the next level. Now, today I am with an incredible boss babe. I've got to tell you, in the beauty industry, this woman rocks the makeup world like nobody I've seen in a long time. She is a makeup artist. She is an educator. She's a speaker. She runs courses. She's a coach. She does it all. Welcome to the podcast, Lina Zuniga. How are you today?
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm amazing.
So I am so excited to learn more about you and for our listeners to learn more about you. Tell us a bit about how you got started in the makeup industry.
Yeah, so I'll try to make this story as short as possible because I tend to go on and on. But essentially, I was working in the corporate world and I was a single mom, 18, and worked in the corporate world until about 25. And I did quite a few different things. I was in project management, I was an executive assistant, and then my last role in the corporate world was an accountant. I was an accountant, which very different from the beauty space. Not very exciting. I was actually bored out of my mind. But one day I got the biggest blessing, even though it was kind of in disguise in the moment. I was laid off. I lost my job. And I had just lost my job literally a week before signing a lease. I was moving out of my home where I had lived with my parents. And so I remember I just signed a lease to an apartment and now I have no job. It was terrifying. And being that it was the first home that I was able to provide for my son, and he was finally going to have his own room because we were living in the same room, sleeping in the same bed. He was 8. It was hard. And so I decided that I never wanted to give anyone that power again to take something from me, which was, my income, right? My way of survival. And so I said, you know what? I'm never going to go back to working for anyone ever again. And I kind of just remember sitting there in my car after they let me go. And I was in the parking lot. And I'm like, what the heck am I going to do next? What am I good at? And I had become so obsessed with watching YouTube videos because this is 13 years ago, right? So this is the rise of YouTube and there's people on there teaching makeup. And I was so obsessed with it that I actually became really good at it. And I was like, maybe I should just do makeup. And I had no idea what I was doing. I had no clue. I mean, zero clue on how to get customers. When I heard makeup artists, I thought of Mac freelancers, right? At the Mac counter. I didn't know that there was this whole world of the beauty industry that existed where you actually turn a profit, make money, be happy, and have your own business and be your own boss. So that was 13 years ago. And so my journey consisted of working really, really hard here in Miami, Florida. And I had a ton of success, thank God. And I was one of the most sought after makeup artists here in the city. But I always had a thing for education. And so fast forward to today, 2024, almost 2025, I'm now a global educator. So I teach makeup artists and coach makeup artists all over the world. And we have people in my coaching program from so many different countries. I mean, Australia, we got, girls from London, Canada, Africa, India. Like we're really, really starting to grow and expand, but it was definitely a journey and one that I'm very grateful for. So that's the short version.
That's amazing. I love that. Wow, how satisfying. And you also have a product line as well. Is that correct?
I do. So about, I want to say 8 years in, I was just working so much. I'm sure you can relate, right? When you just have back to back to back customers. And I remember, everyone wanted lashes. Like no one gets their makeup done without lashes anymore. And so I remember just going into like Walgreens and spending $5, $8 on lashes. And I'm like, this is really costing a lot of money. Like, what do I do? Like, how can I, minimize this spend and this expense? And so I decided to just create my own line. So I did. I created my own line of cruelty-free lashes. And that kind of evolved into lash accessories, like the glue and the scissors and all those things. And the last thing that I kind of put out, the last product was a makeup hand palette. So, when you're doing your makeup and you're putting makeup on the back of your hand to like apply. It's something that a lot of makeup artists do, but during COVID, I was like, absolutely not. Like, we're not touching anyone's hands, faces, nothing. So I launched that in 2020, and that did really well.
That's awesome. And do you have an online course that people can take to learn how to become a makeup artist, or how does that all work?
That's a really good question. So my online coaching program is not for people who want to learn to become a makeup artist. It's for established makeup artists. So we actually don't work with very beginner artists. We work with makeup artists who have been in the game for a while, but they feel stuck. They unfortunately understand makeup. Makeup is their skill set, but they don't know how to run a business. They don't know how to turn a profit. They don't know how to really grow and scale. And so those are my girls. Like those are the ones that I wanted to help. The beginner stuff is fun, but because I kind of missed out on my own beginner stage and I just kind of jumped into like growing a business and scaling and all those things, I feel like I'm just a little bit more knowledgeable when it comes to that. So I decided to focus on that. And, we do really well. I'm very, very happy to be doing it. A lot of makeup artists need help. Like a lot of beauty professionals in general need help. And it's getting harder and harder to stand out, as I'm sure you know. But yeah, we have a really solid program. Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed when I first started out, I don't know how much you know about me, but I have a line of sunless tanning products in addition to manufacturing called Infinity Sun. And we actually make the spray tanning machines. We make it in-house. So we don't
Wow.
contract it out. We actually make it ourselves. We have solutions. We have a whole line of retail products. And we also have an academy where we've trained over 8,000 professionals worldwide on how to set up, run, and grow spray tanning businesses. So
Love
you're
that.
speaking to a very similar demographic. But when
Yeah.
I started, there was no social media. So everything was done really traditionally, with a publicist. I remember when I first started, there was no social media. We started working on celebrities. Next thing we knew, we were on TV. We were in all the major magazines. But things are really different now. You've got girls that are, in their early teens that are watching YouTube videos and that are, marketing geniuses compared to what we were when we first started out. So they're coming in with very little experience and they're dominating the beauty industry.
Right. Right.
Talk to me a little bit about that, how you educate your female entrepreneurs to really get ready in the digital space.
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, you really hit it on the head with that one. And that is something that I talk about a lot on my platform, on my social media, in my trainings and my, live master classes. I mean, there is a new generation of artists that are coming into the game. And it's not just makeup artistry, it's hairstylists, it's anyone in the beauty industry. And we're talking about, girls who grew up in the era of digital and social media. So they understand it. They're not afraid of it, right? They're coming on strong, but outside of understanding the technology and being comfortable with it, they also know the skill very well because they start very young. I mean, I had to learn how to do, makeup by going to a lot of like little classes in person. And even though YouTube was a thing, there was really just people learning how to do their own. There wasn't people at that time teaching others how to do makeup. Like there was no makeup artist academy or online courses or anything like that when I got started 13 years ago. They're getting so much knowledge and resources and skills that we just didn't have, and access to people with skills that we didn't have. So they're coming into the game strong. And it is causing a huge decline in many makeup artists' business and anyone in the beauty industry who is used to older, more traditional methods of marketing and client retention and all types of stuff, right? So that we're going to start to notice a lot more of our seasoned artists, experienced artists who unfortunately were never able to really build a sustainable, profitable, foundation for their business, kind of start to lose business, unfortunately, because of this. So what I tell my girls, to answer your question, is if you can't beat them, you got to join them, right? Like enough complaining about social media, enough saying that it's not for you, enough saying that you hate it and that you're exhausted and you don't have the time for it. Well, if you don't have the time for it, you don't have the time for your business, because it has become one of the most important elements of building your business and marketing your services. So I have to train them and I teach them. And some of them are better than others, but even those who are on social media and understand marketing doesn't mean that they're using it the right way. And so even the ones that come in with some knowledge and they're a little bit more comfortable, I still have to really train them and coach them on how to use it properly to reach their ideal audience, to be able to sell digital products, if they want to be able to do that to earn some passive income on the side. It's a new playing field. And if you don't get on it, you're going to get left behind. Like there's just no
100%.
other way around it.
100% agree. And it's changing so rapidly even now. It's not like it's burst onto the scene and now it's suddenly changed the way we do business. It's constantly evolving. And there are new platforms coming up. Live shopping, which has been huge in Asia, is, starting to come to the United States in a really big and meaningful way. How
Yeah.
do people become experts in their field and adopt and evolve and grow and be a boss and run their business? I always say, we start out as makeup artists, hairdressers, spray tan artists, real purists in the industry, but we have to become expert marketers. How do you do it?
We do. It's not easy and it's not for everyone. And
Yeah.
I mean that with so much love. And I tell even the women that I coach, I said, listen, you're in it for the long haul. Like this is not a short-term game. There's a lot and you have to wear every hat, unfortunately. And there always comes a time where if you really, really work hard and you see progress, you can afford to hire help and you can afford, to allocate budget to a social media person or all the things that you need, but you have to master it first because you can't delegate if you don't know what's working for you, your personal branding, your business. So it is really hard to wear all those hats. And that's the common complaint that I get. So now I feel like I'm just a social media content creator. And I have to tell people, you're not creating content, you're creating ads. The reason why you don't look at it as an ad is because you don't pay for it. And so on Instagram, because that's the one that I use the most, that's the platform I'm on Instagram, every time you're there creating a reel, every time you're creating a post, a carousel, a story post, whatever the case may be, you're creating an ad for your business. And so if you disconnect the idea of, oh, I'm creating content just because, you're not, right? Like there's purpose and intention behind every piece of content that you are creating, and it's supposed to be helping and supporting your business in some way. Think about it like this. Back in the day, when there was no social media, we were talking about newspaper, magazine, radio, TV. Like those were the ways that you got the word out about your business. Now, imagine, this is what I tell them. Imagine someone came to you and said, I will put your ad in my newspaper, in my magazine, in my book, on the TV commercial, on radio for free every single day, as many times as you want in a day. All you have to do is give me the content. Wouldn't you do this? And I told them that, and they're like, I never thought about it like that. And I'm like, I said, it's hard, but it's not, right? Like, just get on, just talk to your audience, just talk to people, just show your face, just get on a podcast like what you're doing. So I think there's a lot of fear too, and lack of confidence that unfortunately is also kind of causing people to get it, to be able to get it on track, their social media, their marketing.
I think one of the other big problems is that a lot of people don't know who their client avatar is.
Very
And if you
true.
don't know who your client avatar is, you don't really know how to talk to them. You can't be all things to all people, right? How did you figure out who your client avatar was? Was it a process? Did you work with an agency, or did you just pay attention to who was following you and then just, slowly massage your message
Yeah.
accordingly?
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I didn't pay anyone. I wish that it would have been that easy, but trial and error, right? And I think you kind of just decide and then you kind of start to collect the data. So I was posting content and I was speaking to all makeup artists at one point. Everyone, beginners, like I didn't care if you wanted to be a makeup artist or, had, any interest in it. I was talking to you. But then I started to realize that my style of coaching and what I had to offer did not resonate with everyone that I was marketing to. And so I think it's really by paying attention to the feedback you're getting from your audience. Pay attention to what they are resonating with and what things that they're not really like, they didn't love that piece of content. They didn't love that post. And you refine your strategy. And so over time I realized, you know what? I don't think beginner artists, like, I don't think those are my people, right? And I think my people are these people. And then once I really started to understand more or less who that person was that I wanted to work with and who my services and who I could really help and provide value for and to, now I was able to, like you said, really get specific about my client avatar. Who is it that I'm speaking to? And you have to dig a little bit deeper. And I'm sure you know, and you've taught this in your academy and everything. You have to dig so much deeper. It's not enough just to say, well, I'm just going to be teaching makeup artists who have 3 to 4 years of experience plus, and nope. What struggles could they be facing right now in their business, right? What does their day-to-day life look like, and really get specific about who they are. And the more specific you get about who they are, the easier it is to create content that speaks directly to them. And I think that work that needs to be done is not being done by most people in social media who are entrepreneurs and try to run businesses. I think they're missing that mark. And so because of that, like you said, they're marketing to everyone. And you know that when you market to everyone, you market to no one.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult to build a community if your message is kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
So, what do you
100%.
tell your makeup artists that maybe feel like they don't have the budget for figuring out who their client avatar is? I know now ChatGPT is like amazing, but you've got to be careful the way that you use it, right? What do you recommend to these women?
So if they're in my program, I help them with that, and that's one of the things that we do in my coaching program. I think the what if they really don't know, and it does happen, they do come to me like, I really don't know, like I kind of want to do X, Y, and Z, but I want to do this too, and they're kind of all over the place. And I'll have to tell them, listen, the reason why you're all over the place and why your income and your business is all over the place is because you have not decided, right? Let's look at three things. One, let's look at what's the type of work that you enjoy doing? What is the thing that you're passionate about and that you really love, right? That you feel good about doing every day. Two, what is the feedback that you're getting from your audience? What are the things that they like to see from you, right? Um, and then three is about finding that common denominator that ties that all together, right? So once we look at those things, we make a decision. And whether that's like, okay, hey, Lena, yeah, I just want to focus on bridal, right? Like they want to niche down a little bit. I just want to focus on bridal. Or, you know what? I'm doing hair, makeup, and brows. Maybe I should just focus on one thing, makeup, right? And so we start to niche down together. And then they just have to execute. And I always say there should be a time frame in which you test things and see how you feel about it. Let's test it for 90 days. I think another thing that people do is that they get very impatient and they want results fast. And if they don't get it fast, they think there's something wrong with their system, right? And with their strategy. And I say, well, maybe you're not giving it a chance, right? Let's test this for 90 days or 6 months, however long we need to. And if you decide, you know what, I realize I don't love this, or I realize that I only like this certain type of client, right? It's about learning. And if you're not paying attention to your business, the ins and outs of it, what's working, what's not working, what people are responding to, what your clients are saying, like, you shouldn't be in business, because that is the heart and soul of what makes a business grow. Would you agree? Like, does that
Yeah.
kind of answer? Yeah.
I think you and I, we have a very similar customer base. You with makeup artists, me with spray tan artists, but there's a really strong crossover. For me, my clients that are spray tan artists are also makeup artists. They're also hairdressers. They're also estheticians. They're also, the entrepreneurial mobile beauty provider. So I think they have a lot of the same challenges. As you're talking, I could be talking about a spray tan artist
No, it's the same formula across the board.
across the board.
That's what I tell them. It doesn't make a difference if you're choosing to do it with hair, nails, lashes, brows, or makeup. It's the same exact formula. The only difference is the service that you're providing. And I don't know how I'm sure you mentor these girls. And I think one of the biggest things is because the industry itself has become so saturated and we have so much more access to people. Um, Now people are looking to work with experts. So before, when you were offering both hair, makeup, and tanning and 4 or 5 different services, that may have worked at a time where there wasn't as many people available to you. You couldn't find them as easily. But now it's all over the place, right? So now people, the client, I want to find the person who's an expert at this one thing because I can. There's enough to go around. There's enough. So what does that say about the others who are kind of doing too much? And I think now is the time to really kind of focus on 1 or 2 things max and really focus on growing that, right? And if you want to try something at some point, but um, I'm starting to notice that for those who are doing too many things at once and offering too many services at once, they struggle a little bit more than the niched artist, the niche, creative. And it's to your point, because it's so hard to market to so many different people, so many different services. And so your marketing is very slow and it can't grow. And everyone else who knows exactly who they're talking to, they're thriving. So now's the time to get smart about your business. Now's not the time to you got to make a choice, right? Um, and I feel like that would happen a lot with the spray tanning, because spray tanning always seems to be that side add-on service. Do you find is that accurate, just based off what I know? Oh, I can add this on. I mean, I already have a salon. I already do hair and makeup. It's a quick thing. I can add that on. Is that usually how it works?
It's both. We manufacture machines specifically for in salon. So that goes into day spas that bring it in as an additional revenue stream, or into hair salons. I'll share a little story with you. When I first started my business, when I was doing proof of concept, now we're going back to 2005. And
Okay.
one of the very first machines, it's a plug and spray technology. I wanted to do proof of concept in airbrush tanning, but also with this plug and spray technology. So I took a room inside of a very prestigious Beverly Hills hair salon, a little 4x5x8 room, and hired 2 girls, one to do the morning to the afternoon shift, one to do the afternoon to the evening shift. And their sole purpose was to go from chair to chair to chair and offer a complimentary face spritz, bring them into the back room and show them what the color could look like. As an add-on service, that room went on to generate $20,000 a month in a 4x5x8 room.
Wow. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Glow Up Boss podcast is brought to you today by Infinity Sun. Are you an entrepreneur thinking that you'd like to start a new business that's fun, that doesn't cost a lot of money to start up, that you could do in the evenings and weekends and earn lots and lots of money? Starting a spray tanning business definitely checks off all those boxes. With state-of-the-art plug-and-spray proprietary spray tanning systems that require only one solution, you can literally choose 30 different levels of spray on the spray tanning system itself. Infinity Sun offers sunless tanning solutions that combine high-end skincare together with sunless tanning technology to not only create the most flawless looking tans, but also to improve the condition of the skin. So here's the deal. As an add on service inside of a brick and mortar business with a synergistic clientele, it's gold. But we also make mobile systems for people that only do spray tans. So they may specialize in bridal spray tans and work with wedding planners, work with hairdressers, with makeup artists. So they work in kind of a, as part of a team, or they may specialize in fitness competitions, or, they may have a room in a Sola suite or one of those salon suites and do mobile or do one or the other. So it really is all over. But I can tell you that a lot of our women start out doing it in the evenings and the weekends, take a space, eventually have multiple spaces, eventually launch their own white label line of products, creating custom. I've even got clients that now have their own brands that are generating seven figures.
I love that.
So it's, yeah, single moms, students, I've got clients that are attorneys that did that for, 20 years that wanted to do something for them that they just love doing, that got tired of reading contracts or showing up in court. Accountants, you used to be an accountant. I've got clients that are former accountants that are now spray tan artists and just loving life, whole other level. So it's a very similar story to yours, but it's
Yeah.
not makeup, it's tanning.
It's tanning. Yeah, it's just a different service. It's a different part of like the body, I would say. But I think it's what you said, right? It's such an incredible add-on.
Yeah.
So what I tell my girls who want to, let's say I'm working with makeup artists who do hair or, maybe they do lashes, they know they have another skill. And their question to me is always, well, Lina, like I want to be, but I don't want to let them all go. Like I know how to do it. I have the equipment. And I said, it's not about letting it all go. It's about understanding how to run your business. Let's say you just focus on marketing the hair and makeup, right? Because hair and makeup can kind of go together. Let's say you just focus on the marketing of the hair or the makeup. Once you reel a client in, then you can upsell them. But that doesn't mean that you have to like put it all over your website or put it all over your social media that you do 4 or 5 things. But understanding that when there's an opportunity to make a sale and, produce extra income and revenue for the business because you have this thing, use it. So I think it's that thing of like, you don't have to, you just have to be smart about how you do it.
I think that's true. You have to be smart about how you do it. When I first started Infinity Sun, our entire thing was about improving the condition of the skin as well as adding color. It's not about making someone look like they've been in the Bahamas for 2 weeks. It's about making the skin healthier. We live in a time where, overexposure to UV rays leads to premature aging of the skin and skin cancer, right? So it's about healthier skin. It's about glow. People look better when they have a little bit of color in their skin. There are some people that can't tan in the sun, right? Nowadays, people don't have the time or the desire to lay out to get to their desired color. The sun doesn't even tan you as evenly. It doesn't contour your body. So tanning is something that's part of your daily skincare regimen, frankly. It's what you have under your makeup. It's what's under your clothes that's making you feel like $1,000,000. So if you're going to be a beauty expert, you're also going to be a skincare expert. You're also going to be a person who understands that when you feel good, you look better, you perform better in your life, right? I don't know about you, we're coming into the holidays. I always indulge in extra food. Pies, cakes, cookies. And I come away going into the new year with a little extra weight. For me, nothing makes me feel better than getting a spray tan and looking 10 pounds thinner.
It's what I do before every event. So like tomorrow being that it's Christmas Eve. No, seriously. I
I'm
have,
with you.
I have some self-tan products, which by the way, now I'm desperate to try yours. Um, that I always have under my counter because I'm like, I don't have time to go work out and lose 5 pounds in 5 hours. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna bronze myself up because it makes you feel better and it
Hmm.
makes you look thinner. It just does. That's why all
Yeah.
the fitness girls do it, right? So yeah, no, that's definitely on my to-do list today to make sure I'm kind of basking in the imaginary sun for a couple hours and then have that glow.
I love that. And you specialize in brides. All brides spray tan, right?
All big spray tan, and if they don't, I'll always have something in my kit to because I'm just like, it's that extra added glow that makes a difference in your pictures. That makes a difference,
Yes.
when you put that white on, and if you're already pasty and very pale, then we need to kind of, add a layer of something that's gonna really make your skin pop.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I love it. I love all things beauty.
Same.
Um, but I still do feel like there's a disconnect that's kind of, just this bridge that's growing and growing and growing between the beauty professional and what it takes to really run a strong, profitable business. And I think people like us, like you and I, who are trying to bridge that gap, right? Of like, we're trying to tell you how it is because we've done it and we've got the experience and we've failed and we've succeeded. And so yeah, that's what I'm trying to do and what I've been doing.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. I think that we live in a time right now where being a woman without a formal education, maybe that didn't go on to college, right? And certainly
Mhm.
in spray tanning, because it's not regulated by the Board of Cosmetology in the majority of states, you can have zero education and
Mhm.
earn 6 to 7 figures with the right training, the right mentorship, and the right products.
Yeah,
And, in your industry, you have to have some sort of formal education to become a makeup artist, but not all makeup artists are created equal. And I don't think you need to be a celebrity spray tan artist or a celebrity makeup artist to do very well for yourself. You can
right.
still make yourself an expert in your area, in your niche without having, celebrity attached to it
A
you
hundred
know?
percent.
And I think a lot of women go into these industries and they see celebrity makeup artists and think, I don't know if I can compete with that. Well, you can. You have to just become very well educated. You have to know how to market yourself and differentiate yourself in the marketplace, right?
Right. Yeah, and you gotta be good. You
And
gotta
you
be
got to be
good.
good.
You gotta be one of the best. And the only way to be one of the best is, to your point, to educate yourself, to
Yeah.
touch as many bases as possible, to have the experience. And don't forget the celebrities. Yeah, when you work with celebrities, there's always gonna be this,
Just
this
cachet.
yeah, there is. But every single person who is looking to get their makeup done, looking to get a spray tan, looking to get their hair done, when they come to you, they're showing you the photo of the celebrity.
Yeah.
So even if you're not sitting with the celebrity yourself, these people are willing to pay top dollar if you have the skill set to make them look a little bit more like said celebrity, right? So
Yes.
it's not so much about working with the celebrity, it's offering the level of service that a celebrity would hire you for so that you can attract the types of people who would pay you. Yeah.
I am so glad you bring that point up. That's one of the things that we talk about in our training as well is delivering a luxury 5-star service. It isn't always about the product that you use. It isn't always about your expertise in the application. Oftentimes it's the way that you offer your service as a business owner. How do you show up? Are you on time? Are you professional? Do you
Yeah.
deliver? Right?
Right. Exactly. And I think, you know, it's funny because as I'm coaching, I have to always dig a little bit deeper because I'll have the makeup artists who say, "Well, Lina, I can't charge more than this because no one books me at that price." Or, "Lina, I can't, work. I don't get to work with these types of clients. I get the ones who constantly like cancel on me or ghost me and negotiate my price with me." And I said, "Well, there's two problems here. One is your perceived value. It's what they assume you're going to be worth based off what they see on your Instagram page, your website, your marketing, etc. Two, you may not have the most polished customer journey. You may not have that high-end customer journey that makes the customer excited to work with you enough to refer you to their friends and their family. And it's not enough just to know how to do good makeup. It's about everything. And the customer journey starts from the second they send that inquiry and they say, hey, are you available? I need makeup services on this day. What is your tonality? Are you being responsive? Are you communicating with them? Are you maybe offering to get on the phone? Are you using ChatGPT to respond to them? Or are you giving them personalized, customized feedback? And all those things matter because when we're searching for remember, what we do is it's a luxury. Makeup, hair, nails, all these things, tanning. We don't need to have that done. We want to. It's a luxury service to begin with. So if they're going to get it done, they want to get it done with people. They want to pay money with the best, right? They want to go with the best. And they will get a sense of that with the communication and the energy that you provide. But I see makeup artists, and I hate to say it, but it's true. And I say it to my girls all the time. Some of you, I've seen you show up to weddings and I've seen you showing up to jobs and your hair's up in a bun and that's fine if the bun is cute, but you just threw it up like you went to the gym 5 minutes, earlier. You're wearing sweats and you're not put together, but you want to charge $1,000 for bridal makeup services. How does that align? It doesn't, right? So, you want to dress. What is the saying that we always say? Dress how you want to be addressed, right? So if you want people to address you in a way where it's luxury, it's top dollar, it's high end, you also have to emulate that. You have to be a mirror of that. And if you're not, what's going to get reflected back to you is more of the crappy stuff those the types of customers we don't want to work with, we don't want to deal with. It's so important. All these little things matter. And I think that's what also scares me about social media. I think people become so obsessed with it for their business, which is fine. It's great because it works. But they're pouring so much time and energy into it that they're forgetting that there's a whole other side to it. Remember, guys, before social media existed, we had to show up. We had to be on our best, right? We had to be professional. We had to be all these things. So just because now we've added social media in doesn't mean that you don't pay attention to the other things. It's not good enough just to get a booking. You got to actually, like you said, get that 5-star review, get that referral. No one's going to refer you or give you a 5-star review if you gave them a crappy treatment, or an unprofessional, service, and you're late and you're just, I can go on and on about it because it does make the difference between a 5-figure artist and a 6 or 7-figure artist. It's not just the makeup, and makeup is a tiny portion of what I coach. The application part is this much versus everything else I have to teach these girls because, yes, it's important, but the rest of it. Have you ever had someone that was like, man, I love her makeup, but I don't want to work with her. Nope. I don't care how the makeup is. Or I love the spray tan, but nope, I don't want to work with her. So it's not just about the skill set. People want to enjoy the experience.
And that's a tricky thing too, because you can be a professional, you can show up on time, you can do the consultation and really understand what it is that they want. You could do the perfect makeup and do the perfect spray tan. But also energy is another thing too. You're not going to gel with everyone, and not everyone's going to be your customer. So once you've put your best foot forward, you did your best, you provided a great service, if they don't come back, sometimes they're just not your customer as well.
It's not your customer. But it's one thing to know this person's not my customer, but I still showed up as me. I still did and represented my brand in the best possible way, right? Because even though that's not your customer, I've had customers who are not my customer. We never work together again, but they will still refer me to other people. It didn't work out with us, but because I showed up and still gave it my all,
Yes.
believe it or not, I'm surprised sometimes. We're like, oh, so-and-so referred you? Oh, I didn't even know. I thought she didn't even, like me after we never, but they see the value, right? And it's obvious, like, no, I love it, but she was still really great to work with, And so, they don't have to be your customer. You don't have to be their artist, but making sure that you're still showing up or representing your brand, right? Because reputation is everything. And the same way there's good word of mouth, there's bad word of mouth. And we don't ever talk about the difference between the two. There's great word of mouth and people saying, oh my gosh, she's amazing. There's also the bad word of mouth. And so you want to make sure you're getting the most out of the good word of mouth versus the bad.
100%. And by showing up as a professional every time as much as you possibly can, it definitely, closes that window of the bad over the good, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I've had situations where if I didn't have a happy client, and I don't suggest everyone do this. I think I was in a place where the money didn't matter to me. And if I had a client that was so unhappy, and thank God it never really happened, maybe like once or twice in my whole career, I would give them their money back. And I'd be like, you know what? It's not even worth it. It's not worth it. Here, take your money because at the very least, maybe, that $250 or whatever it was, maybe that would help them to kind of like, not badmouth me, even though I did fine, but you can't please everybody. And so look at the overall big picture of your brand and of your business, and I mean, I see some artists who fight with their customers about things and they get really upset and they go back and forth via email, DM, text, and I'm just like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. When you, in the grand scheme of things, protect your brand always. And if it's not worth it, just move on. Keep it as simple as you possibly can from the client. Make them happy. Whatever you want your deposit back, sure, take it. Don't need to fight with you about it. And then just keep it going.
Yeah, no, that's really great advice. And I think also setting boundaries, being very clear in your communications, I think is really important. Letting people know how to work with you avoids 90% of the problems.
I agree. Absolutely. And having your policies in place, reminding people of them, and I'm sure with tan artists, they get booked in advance for brides. And it's the same thing with makeup and hairstylists. And just because you have a bride that's getting married 12 months from now doesn't mean you don't communicate with them for all those 12 months, right? Making sure that you're checking in maybe every 3 to 6 months and saying, hey, just want to make sure everything is good. It costs you what, 60 seconds to send out a quick email? Just a reminder, here are our policies. We're collecting payment the day before, because then what happens? All this time has passed. They haven't looked at your contract. They haven't looked at your policy. They forgot and they're keeping up with a million vendors. And now there's all this chaos. So I think it's just about being the person that's going to put the extra effort and going the extra mile for your customers. It speaks volumes. And when you tend to handle your business and your personal brand this way, you attract a different level of customer, right? Of clientele. We all want to work with those, affluent, clients, those high profile clients, those wealthy clients. And I think we have customers from all different walks of life, but usually that's what everyone gets into it for that. Let's be honest. But you've got to match that. Your energy has to match that. And the way you run things and your communication and everything has to align with that, or it's just not going to ever happen.
What I want to talk about with you is now less about your customer base, but you as a business owner. I know myself when I first started my business, I had a state of mind, we say mindset, but really it is the way that you are within yourself that got me to a certain level. And I didn't necessarily have the mindset or the skills to take me up here. Have you experienced that in your business from the time that you started out through the different seasons that took you where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely.
There are thousands of homeless dogs in the pounds and shelters and running all over the streets, and not enough people out there to help them. Sprays for Strays is a fundraising organization that raises money through the sunless tanning and beauty industry to help all the rescues all over the United States of America pull the dogs out of the pounds and shelters, get them vetted, get their vaccinations, get them spayed and neutered, help with any sort of behavioral issues, and help to get them into their forever homes. Go to spraysforstrays.com and become a member or donate. Every little bit of support helps. Thank you to our sponsor, Sprays for Strays, for helping to save the lives of dogs, one spray tan at a time.
When I started, there's so many feelings and fears and lack of confidence and insecurities when you first get started. And I think, depending on the person, whether they have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset or a scarcity mindset or an abundant mindset. I didn't even understand what that meant.
Yes.
I was just kind of going in blindsided. I just didn't know what I was doing. And there were certain things that would happen that would, just like demotivate me and discourage me and things like that. And so I got really lucky because at the beginning of my journey as a makeup artist, I landed a client who was a life coach. And I was so desperate just to like, get jobs. Her and I had like a bartering system. And she's like, why don't you come to like my in-person classes and then you do my hair and makeup. I let you sit in my classes for free. And I didn't know. I was like, okay, sure. And so she would give us life tools and she would talk about like manifestation and, all these amazing like mindset tools. And I learned about it very early on. So I will say that I started to pivot my mindset and things started to shift for me. I became less afraid of, wanting money, right? And that fear of like, am I going to be a greedy person if I want money, if I'm going after money and this, and that, and the other. So I had to work on my money mindset. I had a lot of limiting beliefs surrounding money. I had a lot of limiting beliefs surrounding just me, myself, and what I was worthy of. And I didn't think a makeup artist could be super successful and could do all these things. And I just didn't know that it was possible. And I saw some people doing it, but I didn't think it was possible for me. So, you go through things in your journey, especially as an entrepreneur, because you're dealt with so many obstacles over and over and over and over, and they test you. But I think overall, I had to understand this is a part of the journey. This is a part of it. And every experience is a lesson, whether good or bad. It's teaching me something. And once I adopted the mindset and started to realize I was happier when I thought this way and when I really was like looking at things different and changed my perspective, once you turn it into a habit, it can't be undone. Like, I don't know if that's how you feel, but like for me, when you finally work on mindset, and mindset is the first thing that I talk about with my girls. It's the biggest thing. You can know everything about running your business, but if you don't have control over your mind and your perspective, and you're not able to reroute negative thoughts to positive ones, then you're going to continue to hit roadblocks and you won't be able to grow. Doesn't matter what I teach you. And I tell them all the time, doesn't matter what I teach you. I can give you all of my strategies and exactly how to do social media marketing, everything. But if you're telling yourself you're not worthy of it, you're not good enough, and you're having limiting, beliefs surrounding money and success and X, Y, and Z, guess what? There's nothing I can do for you. So it's the first thing we talk about. So fast forward to today, I can honestly say, mindset plays a huge role in my day-to-day life. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I have a mindset routine. And my routine in the morning is, I'm not going to look at my phone. That was hard. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to check Instagram. I'm not going to check my emails. I'm going to say, wow, I'm so grateful that I'm alive today. What a beautiful day. I'm so happy to be living in this house. And I just start my day with having the attitude of gratitude, and then do some affirmations. And then once I feel good, when you feel good, you do good. When I feel good, then I start my day. But if I don't do that mindset work very first thing when I wake up, it sets the tone for my day. So I try to tell my girls the same thing of, it's not something that you learn once and that's it. You don't just like, oh, I'm cured. I figured out mindset and I visualize and meditate once and it's just like you going to the gym every day. Your mindset exercises have to be done every day, right? How about you? Because I know I saw some of your stuff and I was definitely like on your page and I love all your content. And I was like, you talk a lot about it too, like the importance of mindset and how we need it, especially as women.
Yeah.
Oh, we deal with a lot. We deal with so much as women, being a wife, a daughter, a friend, female entrepreneur, in a male dominated world, I mean, I think we're pulling back on the rope a little bit more now on this tug of war. Like, I think now we're starting to, but it's hard.
It
Yeah.
is hard. No, it's exactly the same for me. I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is check in with myself, and I'm grateful to breathe.
Right.
I'm grateful to be breathing and to feel healthy, and my family are well, my friends are well, my puppies are well. Then to be able to take the puppies out walking and to breathe in the fresh air and to see, I moved to Arizona, I told you, during COVID, And,
Yeah.
just to walk in the open spaces and all the greenery and the flowers and the blue sky and just feeling so incredibly blessed in the moment. It's such a privilege to be able to start the day that way. And I don't check my email, I don't check my social. I don't even want at this point to listen to podcasts when I'm on my walk. I just want it to be about feeling my body, feeling the atmosphere around me, dropping into my own thoughts and my own feelings. And, that's when I'm probably at my most productive in the day. Things that, because we're processing a lot of things throughout the day. We do listen to podcasts. I have a coach, I work with a coach. So I'm constantly learning new things and learning new skills, learning about new ingredients, learning about new methods of manufacturing and new 3D printers and all this stuff. So you have to have time to assimilate all the new information that's coming your way. So that's my time for processing and coming up with new ideas. I'm at my most creative at that time of morning. But also, I think probably, and you probably know this, as well as I do, is if you don't give yourself space to process, your bandwidth for everything else is going to be so narrow, whether it's dealing with your team, dealing with your customers, even just the basics of running a business, the accounting, the taxation, the legal, every other part of being a business owner, you need the bandwidth to be able to manage it.
Yeah. You need the mental bandwidth to be able to manage it. And they'd say that, you've reached a level of success and happiness when you are able to be present. And everything that you just described of like, I'm going on a walk and I'm not even going to put my headphones on. I'm not going to listen to anything. I'm just going to be present and enjoy the moment. And that is a really hard place to be for many people. And it's a very powerful place to be because when you're fully present, you're not stressed, you're not worried, you're not scared, you're not in any other kind of like, you're not in any other emotion or feeling. You're just there in the moment. And so that's when you've got something good and that you're just it's a type of wealth I think people don't talk about, right? Like I don't have to wake up this morning and be worried that someone that I love is in the hospital. I don't have to worry about money, thank God. I don't have to worry about this and that. Like I can actually wake up and go enjoy 30 minutes. Like that is the true meaning of success and being rich and being wealthy. And so I totally can relate to that because I'm like that too. And I love to listen to podcasts. But when you finally have that mental clarity of like, I'm just gonna be present, all of a sudden the best ideas start rushing to you. Does
Yeah,
that ever happen to you?
every
And
day.
it's just like, yeah, and you also have to be ready with like your notes like on your phone or something. I just have a notes on my phone open, like a little tab, and they just start rushing through. But the reason why they're rushing through is because you're allowing the space for it to come in. And it's hard to get there, and I'm gonna tell anyone who's watching this right now, if you're an entrepreneur and you're in it, and it's hard because 'cause I'm sure you're in it, I'm in it, like, you work hours that, no one will ever know, and it's hard, it's every day, all day, it's fulfilling, but it can be, overwhelming, um, but the most important thing you need to understand is you gotta take a little bit of time for you. You gotta just take a little bit of time to just calm down, take a breath, kind of just be present and aware with everything in front of you. And I have a son who's 19, and he's off to college. And so now the time that we spend together is so important to me. And it's about being here now, right? Be here now. And we miss that when we're constantly in burnout mode and survival mode and trying to make this business work and trying to work hard and our emails are going off and we're running from one client to the next. And I remember being there and I was there for a long time. And I wasn't happy. And so to your point with the mindset question you asked, yeah, I was there for years as a makeup artist when I was very grateful to be in high demand. So I was booked all day, every day, day after day, week after week. I could work 30 days in a month if I wanted to with no breaks. And I would take everything on because you know how it is. Like you want to take everything on because you're afraid that if you say no, you lose a client or you lose out on the money, right? And COVID happened and COVID was, I hate to say it, but for me, it actually was, it was good to take the time off that we were forced to take. I didn't realize how burnt out I was. I didn't realize how stressed I was. I didn't realize, whew, I haven't sat down in my house for more than a couple days like, wow. And that's when my coaching program was birthed during that time. And I would have never been doing the thing that I think I was called to do. So yeah, mindset is so important, guys. Take the time to process, to be present, to just be.
I love this. I love this. And I think, I think we're in a time right now where women in business are really starting to understand the importance of this. And I think if I would have known this when I started out in my business, I don't think I would have missed opportunities. I think I would have regulated my body and been able to take on more and probably do a lot better than what I did, to be perfectly honest with you. So I do agree that it's so important for women starting out in business right now to understand the importance of mindset and to really set things up the right way so that you don't have to go through those difficulties that a lot of us went through when we started.
Yeah, 100%. And when you don't have a mentor or you don't have someone helping you along the way, it can be harder. Like I said, I had, this amazing woman, Jennifer Grace. I'll never forget. We were just bartering services, but after she instilled those things, it was like week after week, and she was giving these life tools and helping us with meditation exercises. Visual. She was really helping us. You know, she was a life coach, and I continue to study these things throughout my business, this mindset, because when you're in it, you love it, right? Because you realize, wow, it's really like just the epitome of everything that we're doing. But if you don't have anyone to help you with those, sometimes you do need a little bit of help, and you need someone. And it doesn't have to be a therapist. It doesn't have to be, maybe it's just a mentor. Maybe it's just someone to help you say, hey, because I think every person that considers himself to be a mentor does mindset work. We have to, because we know how important it is, and we can't help others if our mindset isn't where it needs to be. Get yourself a mentor, get yourself a coach, invest in it. If it costs money, do it. If it doesn't cost money, great. Just someone who can remind you, because I believe it's so much more important to be reminded than taught. And having someone teach you once, or even you listening to this podcast right now and being inspired, it's not enough. I think you need to come back to this and listen to it over and over. I think you need to call on your mentor and have, monthly calls with your mentor so that you can come back to it. And we all need that, right? Like, we all need to be recentered sometimes.
100%. So at the
Yeah.
end of all of my podcasts, I always have my guest give 3 action items, so 3 things as takeaways to move the needle a little bit forward for them. So we're going to speak to your demographic, my demographic, which is professional women, women that are already masters of their craft, makeup, hair, nails, spray tans. 3 things that they can do to move things forward for themselves. What are those 3 things?
One thing being that it's the end of the year and we're at the start, probably when this comes out, it'll be like, beginning of the new year.
Yes.
What I would love for you guys to do, so here's an action item. Look at the past 12 months. And I want you to take a piece of paper and pen and write down everything that worked. Everything that worked in your business. Okay, because sometimes we look too much at the things that didn't work and what could have been done better. Look at the things that worked. If that means your social media, looking into your insights. If that means looking at your bank statements every month to see, wow, this money I made a lot more than the other. Just write down everything that worked. And then after that, I want you to write down why it worked. Did I post more this month? Is that why I had more engagement? Did I do more emails, in my email marketing this month? Like, really write down, collect the data of why it worked. And then I want you to push those things that worked more in 2025, because they're already proven to work, right? So these strategies have been proven to work in your business. Instead of trying to do different things because we're so creative that we get bored, we want to start new projects. I urge you to do more of what's already working. You will see more success, more results, more financial wealth in your business. So that is one.
I love that. That is incredible. Okay, that's great. I think I may even do that.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. That's for sure. Okay. 2, again, being that I'm kind of going with the end of year, new year thing. 2, I want you to make a list of all the goals that you have for the next 6 months. Okay, let's not even say the year. It's a lot. maybe a list of 10 of your top goals for the next 6 months. And it could be anything. I want to eat healthier. I want to be able to walk every day. I want to post more on social media. I want to launch a new digital product, whatever the case may be, 10. Then I want you to grab one of those goals. Just choose just one of them, okay? Whichever one you feel like is calling out to you the more, like, I really want to do this one. And then when you grab that goal, I want you to write out 10 ways that you're going to make that goal happen. Okay, so 10, 1, 10. I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of the times when we have all these goals in mind and, how am I gonna execute? You take it one at a time. Believe it or not, when you're writing down the 10 ways that you're gonna execute that one goal, it'll probably be, you're gonna struggle around the 5th way. You're gonna be like, I don't know what else. Like, I don't know how else to make this goal happen. You'll probably end up going with the 9th or 10th. And this was a practice that I did with one of my mentors. And he was like, you got to come up with 10 ways you're going to make that goal happen. I'm like, I'm stuck at like 5. He's like, go all the way to 10. And believe it or not, it was that 10th thing that I was actually able to execute, that idea that I had never thought about, but I pushed myself to think, that actually worked. And I was able to achieve that goal faster. And if you actually do this with all your goals, one at a time, believe it or not, you'll have a very, very successful year.
That's
So
awesome.
that is my second action item. These are hard. These are like activities. A simpler one. I'll do my 3 simplest one. And I'm gonna take it to social media just because I talk so much about social media and digital marketing. I'm sure you are entrepreneurs, you have a personal brand on social media. I want you to go through your social media and I want you to revamp it. I want you to it's not a rebrand, it's a refresh. And all you have to do is just archive any post that you feel does not align with this new version of you, of what you're trying to do in 2025. So that means like anything that was old and outdated, anything that just, maybe doesn't had the best aesthetic. If you're a makeup artist or you're a tan artist or hairstylist, maybe whatever wasn't like done in the best lighting or anything that just doesn't need to be on your page, on your feed, clean it up. And believe it or not, when you do this, your feed will look so much cleaner, so much better. Make sure that the content that you do keep up resonates with your audience. And as you're creating fresh new content for the new year, now you have a stronger page and you'll actually get more inquiries, more people interested in working with you because now they're not seeing a whole bunch of clutter on your page. They're seeing exactly what you want them to see. So clean up your Instagrams, guys, your highlights, everything. Just clear out, almost like you're doing when you clean out your closet at the end of the year, you get rid of all old clothes, get rid of all those old posts that we don't love, that maybe they didn't do well or whatever. Get rid of them, clean them out. And those are my 3 action items. I hope they are useful and I hope they help, but they do work. I've done them. I tell my girls to do them, and so I'm telling you to do them.
Well, I think they're perfect. I think they're awesome. I'm even going to do them myself because I think they're all really great. It gives me something to do later on today. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to speak with me and to speak with all of our listeners and to bring so much incredible value to our community. I appreciate you more than you know and all the goodness that you bring into the world of beauty and the world in general.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate, and thank you so much for building a platform and a community for artists, whether they're old school, dual school, it doesn't matter. Thank you so much because we all need it. We all do. If we're in the beauty space and if you're a female entrepreneur in the beauty space, we need the support. So thank you so much for having me.